Hi, my name is Evgeny, and today I'd like to show you a tool that I've been working on. It's called Stateful, and it is used to create states and transitions between them as efficiently as possible. Let me give you an example. I have a small UI here, and I can hide it, show it, color it, hide it like this, basically do a lot of things with it. So let me quickly show you the workflow for using this tool. Let's add an image. It can be any object, but in this case, let's use an image. Let's add a stateful root component. Let's press work mode. This will prompt us to save a Unity animation. This Unity animation is used as a backbone for editor functionality and is for editor only. It doesn't get into your build. As you can see, each frame corresponds to a state, and right now we have only one state. It's called default. Let's add another one. Let's call it hidden. Now we have two animation events on two frames. Second one is hidden. Let's change the object. Let's change its width to 10, for example, and let's change the color to non-existent. If I press the state button right now, it doesn't do anything because we have no data yet. This animation is used for editor only, and it needs to be baked. To bake it, we can press runtime mode. First time it will prompt us to create an asset file and save it somewhere within our project. And now, as you can see, we have a link to it. And if we press the state button, the state transitions. The time of the transition, we can override it, but by default it uses global settings, which can be found in a window Stateful UI global settings. And if we change time here, as you can see, our transition time changes. And if we set a different ease, as you can see, it instantly affects the feeling of our states and their transitions. Let's choose Outback for now. And let's add another state. So let's get back to work mode. By the way, this is a very neat feature. So no matter which window I'm in, or even if animation window is available at all, when I enter work mode, the window changes to animation. It sets the recording mode on, and the object is locked. So even if I click somewhere outside of it, we still see our states. Let's add another state. Let's add another state, new state button, and let's call it wide. I'll copy and paste the frames from the first state. Now let me change the width a little and height. Also, let's change color to red. So once I bake this, there is one issue that has appeared. Since I am using the Unity animation for the backbone, this is something to be aware of. It's not much of an issue, but still. As you can see, we do not have keyframes everywhere. So here, if we didn't have the alpha to 0, we would see that the object, well, let's show it. Has changed its height due to interpolation. So we need to fix that. Unity catches alpha separately from its RGB channels, so it's something to be aware of. Same thing for height, for example. So now, once I bake this, we once again have our proper animations. As you saw, it was quite simple. So using Stateful is a breeze. As I have already said, Stateful is very useful for the UI, but it's not limited to UI. So anything can be stateful. Let's add a cube object. Now let's make this cube stateful. Let's add a stateful root. Enter work mode. Save animation. And add a state. It's called wide. And change the scale. So now, when I bake it, as you can see, any object can become stateful. So, when you first add stateful, you will not have this. But if you open window Stateful UI, you will see this window. Let's dock it and press a button. This will create the settings for it. In here, you have default time for your transitions, default ease, which I enjoy out expo. But for now, let's use out back. No, not even out back. Let's use out elastic. So as you can see, instantly I have very different visuals. And as you can see, the color changes linearly. This is intentional. One of the things that you can do is you can override properties, and by default I override color since a lot of easings do not work well with color changes or alpha. Linear is preferred in these cases. So let me show you what happens if you don't have that. For now I've removed the overrides, and now when I change, as you can see, the alpha and the color, they jump around. Let's return the overrides. And now, as you can see, no color jumping occurs. But in some cases you may want to color jump one of the channels to give it an interesting look. For example, let's remove the ease override on the blue channel and see how that looks. You can also change ease to something else, for example out expo, if you don't like that. One final thing that I would like to show is that when creating a stateful, you can disable and enable objects so that what you don't see doesn't have to stay active, but still the animation will play out normally. This is done automatically via another override, which is is active, and if I turn it off, as you can see, it doesn't work as intended. By the way, you can add overrides yourself. To do that, you need to know the property name, and